I know we've been involved in a few different, I don't want to say workshops because they usually have a bad rep, but more of a, we call it an immersion sprint and a design sprint. These are exercises in which you get to something that's an outcome, whether it's more of identifying an MVP, a roadmap, to actually creating a prototype to test with users. How's your experience with working with those sprints on your side?
Well, at first, like we were starting with this feature, which is quite big. It's very vast. It's going to take a long time to build. They wanted to discuss that over a spreadsheet and a phone call. So that was their original plan. And we had to convince a sprint would be the best solution because there were a lot of stakeholders that had a lot of opinions. And there was a lot of uncertainty from product. So it wasn't just uncertainty from me coming into the project not knowing what they need, but from them themselves, they didn't know what they need. So they agreed to a design sprint, but it was not the 5-day sprint that we are normally doing. It's the 3 days, 2 days of in a boardroom the whole day with 16 people. So it was a lot more stakeholders that we would have normally worked with. So there's a lot of distractions and people running off topic. But then there was also really good cohesive output. People got to get, you kind of just vomit out all the ideas first and then the real ideas come out. So we got a lot of that out quite quickly. Yeah, we went through a great process. Scott facilitated it and he's wonderful. He looks like everything's going perfect all the time, even when time is running out and people are waffling. I quite enjoyed doing a session with him. I learned a lot from him as well. And yeah, it was really great hands-on drawing. We all drew ideas. We had leadership drawing ideas. We had product owners and account managers and heads of capital projects drawing ideas. And everybody was designers for a day. It was amazing to see how people came up with, and people voting and tending to have a similar opinion about what they voted on was very interesting. At the end of the week, we had everything drawn up and we had a storyboard for what we were going to do, which then I took home with me and over the next few weeks progressed into a wireframe for a test prototype. No, it wasn't obviously the final thing, it was just a test. It took them about a month to start getting users. So there was quite a delay in the process, which dragged it out quite a bit. The testers that we got were about 8, so it wasn't a lot. And then only 2 of them were real users. So we did meet with them afterwards almost to try and have the last day session of a 5-day, which was 3 months later, to discuss, should we still keep testing? What do we want to do for an MVP? And they said they didn't want to test any further. They wanted to start producing and getting it out, and they wanted to do the full thing from start to finish. So it was not a 5-day. That would be, I think, one of the most interesting sprints that kind of compromise between the business's plan and the actual process that it should be.
Obviously, a good point is that you get to at least the ideation and the story, what you want to test, and the big chunks that you want to understand from your users. And it's something that if you are going to each of these 16 people, these people's ideas, talk to them, meetings, hey, what do you think? And going back and forth, that process, what people think that's what you should do, would take far longer to get to a story map, ideation, what we need to test versus putting people into a room, putting them on the spot, being able to facilitate that kind of discussion. Like you said, it's an art form to get 16 different viewpoints and kind of consolidate into a story within 2 days. Yeah, that's something that I know that helps us stand out a bit from what people think UX should be. And us being involved in that type of facilitation has been pretty powerful with the clients. They get to see that firsthand, especially when you've got, companies usually, they're going to be dysfunctional if they need consultants in some way. So for us to herd those dysfunctional cats into a better process faster is always a good feeling.
They had great feedback. They loved it. The clients absolutely enjoyed it. It was also really nice to meet people face to face.
Yeah, you flew in from South Africa.
Yes, so remote working is, it's got its great benefits, but when you've been working with a team for 4 years and you haven't met them, it's like, hi, this is what I look like. That was So funny for me. But it was a lovely opportunity to meet everybody. And actually, we spent social time after the sessions in the evenings together, getting catch-ups